Embrace a new future. Good morning, friends. Thank you for joining me again. You're with Elvertine, level 37, I think. Nope, 36. Level 36, Void Elf, Blacksmith, and Miner, and Fisher Elf, and Chef sometimes. We're going to continue on with our professional leveling journey, and we're going to return to Vashjia, where it was found we could make collect a lot of obsidian ore very quickly. I can't really think of a reason not to go back there, considering just how much ore I found in such a short space of time. I think I need another 400 pieces or so. Let's have a look. Where is the portal? There's a portal here, just takes you right back. And it shouldn't take too long to get those, based on how fast we made bank last time. So once again, go underwater and we get onto our seahorse. You have to head south from here, but I'll just grab the ore that's just near the cave here. I'll just grab it all. And we'll head down through the kelp forests, or as I said last time, the salad forests. Where is it? From the last episode, I was telling you all how much I quite like the undersea world, but I understand that a lot of players just don't like the physics of the world. Let's see if there's any over here. So much ore, so quick. Get a few points of experience as well. Not as much as some of the earlier levels. Not sure why that's tapered off. In the earlier levels we're getting 400 and 500 experience points per node. Oops, just started a fight there. Better finish the fight though. Really like the Warriors playstyle. Such a fun class for combat. Where are we? One more node in this area probably. And then we'll head south. There's a giant, there's a whale shark, but that huge shell is actually a creature as well. I can't remember what it was called, Nephira or something like that. It's like a giant, I don't know how to describe it, kind of like an octopus crossed with a crab maybe? I'm not sure what you'd say. So I think for this session we'll just loop around the ruins. What's it called, this area? The riverside, is it? No, Glimmerdeep. Glimmerdeep Hollow and the ruins of Felsarai Temple, just like that. And that should be enough. The ore respawns pretty quickly. You don't have to travel too far afield, which is great. And we're travelling at 450% faster. Oh. Spike-tooth eel. Deep sea sagefish. That's good. I mean, the only way you can really fish underwater is to kill fish and loot them, which works. So we'll come down here. There's one of the tentacles from that giant boss. Oh. I thought he was going to leave me alone for a second, and he came at me. It's strange, the fish, they should drop a little bit of their flesh, I think, considering that you can't fish underwater. Note to the game designers. So let's see how we're doing already. I get very greedy. It's 26 pieces. 26 pieces of ore. 13 bars. And as I discovered in the last session, those bars halve again when you do the folded obsidian. It takes 2 bars to make one folded. Makes blacksmithing quite a challenging profession to level up. Makes it labour intensive for sure. Most of these nodes underwater here are not guarded by other creatures, so it's a pretty uninterrupted pattern you can follow if you're thinking of copying and farming obsidian. Make a lot of money too. On the server, the obsidian bars sell for crazy money, like 100 gold a bar or something. I mean, that's what it gets listed for. I don't know if it sells for that. People just don't want to take the time. Who's trying to attack me? Oh, this guy here. Take him down. Hopefully we'll level up as well. I'm relying on the experience from collecting the ore and killing the odd eel. I don't actually mind too much getting into these little fights because of that. What is that? Toxic bite. Continuing on. There's something about eels, I just find them pretty creepy creatures. They're kind of snake-like, I guess. Oops, overshot there. This area is so reliable. No other farmers inside. I would switch areas just for some variety, but the thing is, you just can't go past the speed of this mount. It's just incredible. Oh, just found a weapon. A two-handed axe. Hopefully that will sell. Sell well on the auction house. I find actually that for some reason, I don't know why, weapons do not sell as well as armor. Players are just less impressed with buying weapons. I don't always know why certain things sell. You post them on the auction house and suddenly you it just sells for some reason. I'm assuming transmogrification purposes, but to be honest, I'm not sure. And sometimes an item will sell after you've listed it lots and lots of times. So maybe that player is just the right player at the right time, which makes it hard to understand market mechanics. Most of the armor I've listed does sell, but it's the pricing that dictates whether it'll sell or not. You might get onto the auction house and discover that someone's posted, say like a chest piece for 20,000 gold, and you think, oh my gosh, 20,000 gold, I'm going to make so much money. So you might list yours something similar, like 19,900, and there it sits for weeks, no one touching it. And then you start thinking, well, it's just too expensive, I'll drop the price. So you drop, and you drop, and you drop. And you see that the other person who listed the item for 20 doesn't shift, they just keep it at 20. So it makes you wonder, does it sometimes sell for that much? Is that why they're doing it? Or is there some other nefarious reason? Are they just not very smart, or are they a bot? You're never really sure. And often you'll drop the price down to something like 100 gold. We started at 20,000, and then it sells, suddenly. So yeah, you can't really, it's hard to tell in the current market. I find the current market of the auction house it's very, very puzzling. It's very inflated. Back in the day, the auction house things just weren't very expensive, but now routinely you see things for hundreds of thousands of dollars, or gold, I mean. And it's hard to make sense of that. Who has 100,000, to spend on a sword, say? Why would you spend all that money on a sword? Questions. So many questions. I'm always wondering if the market is artificially inflated by bots or professional gold sellers, or what's going on. It's hard to know. Let's have another look at our bounty. 44, so we've got 88 ores, making 44 bars, making 22 folded obsidians. Seems all very laborious when you look at it like that we've only got 22 folded obsidian bars. I'm thinking this probably will be the last Vashjir farming run, I think, because I head into the Elementium zone, we'll call it, soon. Eel fighting. Colossus Smash, my new favourite spell. One more bar to go till we level up to 37. I can't tell you how helpful GatherMate 2 has been. It's just been a godsend. There is another add-on people use for farming called routes or routes. It's just it's a really strange add-on. It puts a line on the screen, three-dimensional sort of line where you follow the line and it leads you to all the nodes. It's very it takes farming to a more technical level of efficiency, but you lose the sort of joy of the gameplay a little bit with this big line on the screen. That's what I think. Look at that giant eel, Velskar. Some of the names sound like IKEA furniture. I love this big green fuzzy dome thing. Looks like a tennis ball. Half a tennis ball. This surely must be the fastest, whoops, wrong way, fastest farming in the game. I'm willing to stand. Sorry, can't talk this morning. Be stood corrected on that matter. Be stand corrected, I was trying to say. Dear oh dear. I need more coffee, probably. Okay. I think some of these are just respawning within a few seconds. Each zone in this expansion has a little sort of starting story. So we'll probably get some more experience. Maybe like when we go to Oldham, do the starting story there. Maybe I should do the one for Mount Hyjal as well. I think you have to do the starting sort of quests to have access to the portals. The portal, for example, that I used earlier to get here is now active since I've done all the starting quests. I still can't kick the idea that this is all salad. It just looks like salad to me. Nespira, there's the name of the big creature. There's actually a pretty good dungeon in this area as well. Once again, a lot of players don't like the dungeon. I think one of the things that drove players crazy was they used to do a lot of the voices for the NPCs as if they were blowing bubbles. It's just kind of an annoying sound. Ultimately, I think it's incredibly creative, this zone. I'm always find myself quite impressed with the game designers, getting to express different realms and zones, trying to evoke an atmosphere conducive to fantasy, or whatever term you feel I want to use. Where's the ore? There it is. You play these games to immerse in a bit of a different world for a while, as a form of escape from, maybe a boring reality. I think a lot of games invest in the look of the game, which is always good, but underinvest in the sound design qualities, like the music and the sound effects. I think film director Steven Spielberg, there's a quote somewhere that he said, music is 90% of the movie or something. Like some extraordinary proportion of the movie's appeal lay in the music. So if you're designing a game, you really are underselling, well, what's another term? You're really not doing yourself a justice if you neglect music and generally sound as well. It just creates a whole other layer of immersion when there's music, when the music's on point, you could say. $79. Doing very well. So what I might do is pause the video just for a little while. It's getting a little bit routine, and I'll see you in a few moments. Okay, well, I've been farming now for maybe another 20 minutes. Had a very interesting experience. I saw see, there's one experience right there, caught on camera. Some of the nodes have been phasing out for some reason. It's very strange. But I also saw a druid in sea lion form farming, which actually annoyed me because I feel like there's the same phasing problem again. It's very strange. Is it a player from another zone who I can't see phasing out of phase with me? Is it that druid? The druid was travelling at enormous speed as well, which I found very puzzling. Wasn't quite sure what was going on there. He was travelling faster than this mount. Is that a bug or is that a hack of some kind? All these questions, I'm not sure. Once again, there's the phasing. That's 3 in a row. 3 nodes in a row. Can't make sense of it. I don't know much about phasing and how it works. I know there's a bit of a thing, a sort of knack to understanding it. Different realms overlapping somehow. I don't know how it works. I might even be using the wrong term. It might not be phasing. Okay, here's a node here. Okay, finally. Actually got one. It's funny how the human mind works. When you have something all to yourself, you feel entitled to it in some way. Anyway, back to the count. We're only got to get another 8 bars, so 16 pieces of ore, and then we can go back to Stormwind and do some crafting, is the plan. I probably would have finished by now if it wasn't for that strange phasing problem, or maybe the other farmer. Anyway, we won't be much longer here in the ruins of the Felsarai Temple. 6 more bars, 12 more pieces. I think there is enough ore for 2 players to farm. It just slows down quite. Is it a lot? A bit, yeah, it is a bit. When there's no one else farming, incredibly fast. I only saw the druid once. See, normally there's a bit of ore there, like at least 1 piece. So, again here, normally 1 piece. Humans are funny. We get all precious very easily. Got some nightstone there. Whoops. Haven't actually farmed many jewel gemstones in this round, that's a bit strange too. Normally there's a handful of gems, but I think I've got maybe 2. And there we go. We are ready to head back to Stormwind. So without further ceremony, let's hearth back to Stormwind City. Okay, we're in the Dwarven district. We'll head over to the Blacksmith over here. We'll jump over. Of course, we have to go ahead and smelt all of this. So I'm just going to pause the video while I smelt all this ore. Okay, we've now made all of our obsidian bars. Next step is to open up the blacksmithing recipe book, and we're going to make folded obsidian 150 pieces. So it's quite a lot. So once again, I'm going to pause the video. I'll see you back in a few moments. Okay, coming to the end of my folded obsidian making. It was a bit heartbreaking. Don't get as many folded obsidians as you hoped for. Okay, this is the plan. A lot of these recipes here, as you can see, require elementium. So we're going to keep the folded obsidian obviously in our bag and just finish heading. I think we need to head up to level 35, which we can still do with the folded obsidian keys. So I'm going to hit 35 and then pause. There we go. So now that the recipe is turned green, we'll talk to the trainer here. Okay, we don't need to learn anything else at the moment. So the next phase is, if we come back up here, we're going to make some of these recipes. This is a good one, Stormforged shoulders with elementium bars, or maybe red steel shoulders as well. to continue on the blacksmithing leveling. Alright, but that's for another episode. So once again, thank you for joining me on this leveling journey. Please feel free to like and subscribe, and join me again soon. Bye for now.